Hey guys, it's Stove Talk with Matt. I want to show you this really cool little door available on Amazon for like 35 or 40 bucks. You can build a lot of cool little, easy, simple little coal stoves and wood stoves with this door. And I was building this coal stove, but I figured I want to show you guys how to use the door. I don't think I've ever shown you guys what I look like. Make sure I'm not a bot or something. So that's me, Stove Talk with Matt. I'm glad you guys are here. So let me show you the door. I'm going to test this coal stove using a cheap grate. Obviously the coal will probably be so hot it'll eat through that grate pretty soon. But anyway, I'll get into that in the next video. I figured I'd make a little mini video halfway through. Guys, this door, again, I got it on Amazon, high flame, and it just makes it so easy to build a simple little stove. So I just want to show you how that would be done here. Let me move this brick off. And it's really the size, it's almost like they made it for fire bricks. So you would just make an opening there of, this is just one full fire brick across by 3 bricks high. And then the door, you know, you see the lip. I'll show you the back of it. Has a really nice lip all the way around, and it allows just enough for some overlap, that's perfect, absolutely perfect. It doesn't go inside or anything like that. It overlaps on top, and then it's just enough space where, let me brace this with my knee. If I was making this stove permanently in my house, I would fill in the mortar for these 3 rows just thick enough to where this brick, of course, would be exactly level with this lip here. Right now my lip is a 1/4 inch too high, which is also perfect because the joints in fire brick should be very, very, very thin. Never want big, you know, brick joints, red brick joints in fire brick, almost like there's no joint at all. But you'd have to build it up enough to where this matches the level of your lip. Let me show you here on the side. I'm just about a 1/4 inch off there. So then you could lay your fire brick across the top like this, and then continue to build up, and there's your door. Now again, this space here, if I was building this permanently in my home, I would use, you know, the standard 3 parts fire clay to 1 part, 3 parts sand to 1 part fire clay. I would add a 1 part of lime, and I would add a 1/2 part or 1 part of type S cement to my 3 part sand, 1 part clay. And you would just simply, you put a you know, a 1/4 inch of or a 1/2 inch of a bed of mortar there. You'd smush it down, and then just with your hand, you know, rubber gloves, you just fill in the sides. Just fill in the sides with your mortar. And you know, these fire bricks do expand, and you could get a tiny bit of cracking, but I think the 3 part sand to 1 part clay and 1 part lime to maybe a 1/2 part type S or type N. Type S or Portland cement. If you use straight Portland cement, you'd want to use a 1/4 or a 1/2. I think that would be fine. You know, it's no big deal if it comes out in 5 years or cracks. You just, you know, chisel it out. It won't be that secure with a 3 part sand to 1 part clay as your primary, and just 1 part lime and a 1/2 part S. You can just chisel it out and do it again. You know, big deal, right? So once you get them level, then that goes across, and I'll show you in a second, guys. These bricks are frozen together again. And you just build it up. It's a really nice little door. It's very heavy, it's iron. It's, you know, 35, 38 bucks. I got this about a year ago. It's great. And then if I was building you know, a wood stove or a coal stove for my home, I would simply, well, probably at about, I don't know, maybe 10 to 12 rows up, I would start to create a situation so the heat holds in the stove a little bit. I'd I put that across like that. I put that across like that. And I'd allow maybe just 6 or 7 rows higher than this. Let the heat come through here, 1 brick. Then I'd go about 4 or 5 more rows up, and I'd flip-flop it. I'd have this covered, and I'd have this brick, this opening here in the front. And I would just go back and forth every 4 or 5 rows, as high as I could go up. And then at the top of my stove, I would put, it would be best to get a piece of soapstone across the very top, because these fire bricks take a long time to heat up. It's going to take really an hour for the heat to radiate out. But if you have soapstone at the top, that would get warm in just 5 to 10 minutes. And if you have a nice piece of soapstone across the top, maybe make it as large as you can, then you'd want to hollow out the back, and I would have my pipe coming out the back, and then kind of with an S or an angle connector of a 6-inch stovepipe to go up on the back. I wouldn't, if I bought a nice piece of soapstone for the top, I wouldn't want to cut a hole in that and have it go straight up. It'd be better if the heat collects up to the top of the soapstone and then goes out the back with immediately an angle or an S up to your chimney. That would be a extremely easy masonry heater, and if you put the proper grate down here, not this piece of crap stuff I got from Home Depot, then you could it probably would work. That's my test for the next video: coal or wood, and you just leave 2 open under the grate, so you get your shovel in there and shovel out. Piece of cake. Simplest little heater in the world if you get this if you get this door. Okay guys, here's the stove door, and then I have this set up on Amazon so we can jump right to the products I want to show you as the best way to put the door in. I think mine was $35 or $36. $39 is a great price. There's like dampers, fireplace dampers, for $180. Things are so expensive. I mean, this is a heavy iron door, 8 inches by 8 inches. It's a little smaller, I guess, the square for putting the wood in, but load it. You could get almost any piece of wood in here one at a time. So here's it's high flame, high space flame fireplace or wood stove door. It'll come right up on Amazon. Now, I didn't mention this in the video, but the best way to put this in would be to use some kind of gasket or an insulation. And now you don't want the big round gaskets that you may be used to for putting in stove glass or glass for a wood stove door, a viewing glass. There's flat gaskets you'd want to use. So let me click on the high flame door. Remember, the back has this nice level lip at 7 3/4 inches. A fire brick is 9 inches, so it fits right in between perfectly, just that 1 brick. And I mentioned in the video, you could get away with this just in the space, just shoving in your mortar. 3 parts sand, 1 part clay. 3 parts sand, 1 part fire clay, 1 part lime, 1/2 part type S cement. You could get away with that. It would hold up. You might have to, pull the door out after a few years and redo it, or it depends how much you use the stove. To do it more permanently, you would, like the Russians will lay an insulation, like a ceramic fiber insulation, around on the lips, and then they'll put the insulation on the bed of mortar and squish that in. Mostly it's an expansion issues because iron will expand at a different rate than the fire brick, etc. So you're always going to get a little bit of cracking. It's really not a big deal. But probably the best way to do it would be with a gasket, not a round gasket like you might be used to for a wood stove door to re-gasket the glass in a wood stove door, but more like this, like this is a flat gasket. Okay, these are wood stove gaskets, but again, these big round ones usually for wood stove doors with viewing glass. This is a flat gasket. I think this would be much better for that high flame iron door. A flat gasket like this here. Excuse me. And it has a self-adhesive, but you want to buy probably the Stove and Cement gasket stove and cement. Comes in these little tubes here. Some gaskets come with a little tube of gasket cement. So you would cement your gasket onto the iron door, and then you would you would put your mortar between the gasket then and the fire brick, shove it in that way. I've seen the Russians build their stoves. They'll just lay like a ceramic fiber insulation on top of the metal, most again for an expansion issue. Then they'll smush that into the mortar on the sides, the top and the bottom. And there's one other product. Let me show you guys. Let me go up here. You can't see what I'm searching, but it's a great product you could use instead of a gasket. Ceramic fiber insulation paper is a really interesting product I came across. You guys know this thick ceramic fiber blanket insulation. People use this to wrap their rocket stove risers. And by the way, it's nasty stuff to work with. Don't inhale it. Don't touch it. But they have this paper, and it's good to like 2,000 degrees, and it doesn't feel like paper. I don't know. It feels like I don't know what it feels like. It's like 10 pieces of paper all glued together. It's flexible. It's not like fibrous. It's like it doesn't come apart as easily as this stuff. So you could, it cuts with scissors, piece of cake. So that's another option, getting this paper and just cutting it using your gasket cement, cutting it, putting it on the metal of the high flame iron door, and then having that as your little insulation between the iron of the door and the mortar that you're going to pack around it. But either way, guys, again, if it was me, I would just probably smush the cement around the door, the clay, the sand, with the part lime, part cement, and I don't know, 5 years, chip it out and do it again. It's really, I don't know how much this helps. I've seen, again, the Russians tend to use this ceramic stuff around their doors, but their doors are much bigger, heavier, and they're building the damn thing to last 30, 40 years. So I guess that's it. Hopefully that was helpful. And with some of this insulation and the door and, I don't know, 70, 80, 90 fire bricks. Fire bricks are just over about $2 each now. You can build yourself a nice little masonry heater, but you can put a piece of iron. The best would be to, again, put a piece of iron on the very top, or soapstone on the very top, and exit the 6-inch stovepipe out, just under it, out the back, and then immediately up from there. Don't do a horizontal run, from more than a few inches. Just completely, then let it go up, so all your heat slams against the top, and the iron or the soapstone will get hot very, very quickly. I don't like if you just put fire brick up there. Again, it takes like an hour. It takes forever. You need kind of the best of both worlds. You need the top heating up to get some initial heat, and then the fire bricks will radiate out over 4 to 6 hours. If you put like stones or big pieces of sandstone or natural stone up top, or again, that's going to take forever to heat up. And I think a nice little stove has the best of both worlds. That's why I like stoves with a cooktop. That cooktop starts throwing out heat. It's a metal plate like a wood stove, and then all the other bricks and everything are heating up, and then like a thermal mass will radiate out over 6, 8, 10 hours. Thanks, guys.